Well, welcome everyone to the first episode of TheTalks. We're very happy to welcome you today. I'm Maud. I'm a content and social media manager at TheTool. And today we're going to talk about a new scope for ASO in 2020. So I'm going to present you the first speakers for this first episode of the talk. So to begin with, we have Jorge Canga, which is the founder of Kaizen Internet and CRO enthusiast. Jorge, can you please speak a little bit about you, present yourself?
Yes, sure. First of all, thank you for inviting me to the first episode. I'm thrilled to be part of it. A little bit background about myself. I've been in the advertising industry for the last 5 to 6 years, and the last 3 of them in gaming. So I've worked for several companies in the space, as well as consulting others. And one of my favorite topics is ASO, and the fact of it is related with many other marketing areas. So not only ASO like as a SEO, but how it is like a 360 strategy for all app and game developers.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for presenting yourself.
Jorge, can you please turn your camera on?
Yep, right away.
So we can see you?
Yes.
Hey.
Can you see me now?
Perfect. Okay, then we have just next to me Daniel Peris, which is CEO and co-founder of TheTool, and which is also growth engineer. So Daniel, can you please talk a bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining us in the first episode of TheTalks, a series of online webinars focused on ASO, App Store optimization, and mobile growth, and so on. As Motse and the founder of TheTool, I've been doing ASO since 2012 and doing SEO since I can't remember when, but for sure for 10, 12 years. And that's all. Let's talk about our new participant who has just joined us. Maud, please.
Yes. Welcome. Steve Young, who has just joined us. He's the third speaker of this first episode of the talk, and he's CEO and founder of AppMasters. Steve, welcome. Can you please say a few words about yourself?
Sure. I've got my camera all mixed up, but I like to make an entrance. So I'm just apologize for being a little bit late. I've been in the app business since 2011, started a podcast in 2013 because I really wanted to take it seriously, right? Like I was making a couple of $1,000s a month, but essentially it was on the side and I was running growth for a startup in San Francisco. But I wanted to take it seriously, and what better way than to start a podcast and interview some of my heroes in the app space. So I did that, build up a platform and build up an audience who then started coming to me for marketing help. And then in 6 months after starting the podcast, I ended up leaving that startup job and running my agency full time. So what we're known for in the space, some of our ASO strategies, along with helping 32 different clients get featured by Apple and different growth hacks that we figured out, because we try to work with a lot of startups so they don't have a huge budget. And so we don't talk about like programmatic advertising, all that marble where it requires a big budget. We talk a lot about the different growth hacks and what you can use to grow downloads on a really, really tight budget.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Steve. So if you guys are ready, we're going to start with the first question. So we're going to begin with the differences between App Store and Google Play. So in your opinion, guys, which is the most crucial factor for conversion rate on both stores? And what is the most relevant ASO element on App Store and on Google Play? So who would like to start? Do you want to start, Danny?
You're the boss, right?
Yeah.
For example, let's start by me. As Maud says, and everyone knows or should know, App Store ASO and Google Play ASO are quite different. And regarding your questions, the most relevant factor for conversion rate, I think it's almost the same for both stores. And I'm referring to the icon. I'm referring to the average rating. And well, I think those two elements, icon and average rating, are the most crucial factors for conversion rate. And in terms of the most relevant ASO element on App Store and Google Play, I think this is something I'm seeing lately. I think it's the icon. The icon can be very powerful to get visibility on the stores. It also has a big impact on conversion rate, So everyone, please take care of your icon and run a lot of A/B testing.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right, guys, do you want to comment anything? Yes, Jorge?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Danny about the ratings. They have like a huge effect, but what I've discovered is that running fake store A/B testing and A/B testing the rating itself, if you put like a 5-star, it's not as credible as if you have like a 4.5 or 4.3, something more natural. So having a good rating obviously affects, but having like a fake or ultra high, like close to 5, sometimes is looked as fake, even if the app doesn't have like a big branding. Yeah, and about the other elements, all the visual elements are crucial, and especially if you run a lot of user acquisition. So as Danny said, run a lot of A/B testing, jack up the budgets in the CRO part, because at the end of the day, it's not only about the organics, but the whole strategy. So I think it's so key, and it's becoming even more key with all the restrictions in the search results. So you gotta do it.
Great. Thanks,
Cool.
Jorge. Steve, do you
My
have
turn?
anything to add? Yes.
All right. Well, I think it's the obvious ones, right? We all know what has the most weight. You can read any basic ASO article. I want to focus more on a couple of different things that we've seen success on. So I think screenshots are very important, and I like to take it at a macro level, and I'll take it to a micro level for each app store. But at a macro level, think about the search results and think about what shows up in the search results. So on iOS, it's going to be the screenshots, it's going to be the app icon, like Danny said, and it's going to be your app title, right? And what we've seen double the downloads for a client. We didn't change any keywords, we didn't change anything, but we put different screenshots in there. And in those screenshots, we had social proof. And what do I mean by social proof? If you look on any website, thetool.io, you're going to see the different number of clients, the brand name clients that are used by the tool, right? And so that's social proof. How many users do you have? What are your big clients? Any type of social proof. If you've been featured or you've been featured on different blogs, that's social proof. So that's on the iOS side. Screenshots are very important. And on Google Play, we just ran this test as well, where we're using the short description to add social proof. Rather than stuffing the keywords in there, we A/B tested it and just said, hey, we have 800,000 things. We had emojis in there. So it wasn't keyword specific. It was just about the number. It was for a phone number app. It was the number of phone numbers we supported, the number of cities we supported. So it was all about conversion rate optimization. And we saw a 14.6. So to Jorge's point, look, we're not saying like 100%. We're saying 14.6, exactly 14.6 increase in downloads just by A/B testing those versus a keyword stuffing the subtitle, short description. Yep. So that's the two I would focus on.
Great. Nice. Thank you, guys. Really interesting. Now, if you want, we can move on to the second question, which is focused on at the App Store and on how does the new iOS 13 impact your ASO strategy. So who would like to start?
Steve, go on.
All right, look at that. All right, let's say. So it's a huge impact. Like we've seen, actually, I've heard both things, a decline in impressions and downloads, and some have seen an increase. I think the one thing that I would focus on these days is retention and monetization. I've talked a lot about ASO and growth a lot, but I think we're moving towards that retention and monetization. And so the things that I'm factoring in are the App Store browse, and then the App Store now has this suggested, if you just search, they've been testing it. This search results right here, but they also had like recommended icons. And so I think that's what I would start focusing on. A lot of people come to us and say, look, I want that Apple feature. I don't think it's as important. Look, it's great, right? It's great for investors, but I don't think it's as important these days to get that feature. And so really do that market research. That's what I've been preaching. Do that market research, figure out what apps are working in the like generating revenue. And then like, obviously from the iOS hack side, like a lot of the tricks that used to work, it's constantly changing. So it's so new right now that some of the tricks that we used to work before on iOS 12 aren't as effective anymore. So I think a lot of things are changing in terms of retention, and Apple's starting to take more of that into consideration too. Thanks, Jorge, for agreeing.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with that. Like for me, iOS 13 is the moment where Apple is becoming less hackable and is more going towards like a good product, good retention, good metrics, like you said. So these are becoming more important, and less important things, but they are also worth to A/B test, is all these night mode and all these things that I've seen people A/B testing already. But it's pretty difficult from the data point of view how to break it down and really measure what is the effectiveness of that. So if App Store would become more transparent on that, would be awesome, because you can, yeah, get more insights from that. And the trending part, I think, again, it's favoring all the good products instead of favoring just like a pure ASO hacks stuff in keywords, and going more for the yeah, for the winners, for the people that makes them money at the end of the day.
Guys, you have said everything. So one last point regarding the iOS 13. It's in terms of ASO, as you guys said, the new App Store is less hackable, or the tricks or hacks that worked before are no longer working. But for sure, we will find new hacks. That's part of our job. And regarding the App Store, the App Store, with the new black mode, it's called dark mode, with the new dark mode, now we have to focus more on design in terms of icon and screenshots. Now your icon and screenshots should look great in both clear mode and dark mode. But that's the only thing, the only relevant thing, apart from Apple Arcade and so on. But we are talking about ASO. The new App Store is less hackable, but for sure it's hackable like all digital products. And please focus on design. Please take care of your icon, take care of your screenshots, because they should look amazing, look awesome on both dark mode and clear mode.
Great, thank you guys for your advice. And now moving on to the next question, I have one question for you, Jorge. So what do you use for CRO experimenting, and why do you use that?
I tend to use both Google Play Experiment and fake stores. I've used Split Metrics, and now I'm really keen to try ASO Giraffe because they provide a lot of more insights than Google Play. So it's cool to have. You can be more granular and A/B test more stuff that you can in Google Play. So that's what I use, and I try to, if I can, if I have the budget, try to test with Google Play and the fake stores for the same app store. So even if it's a Google Play app, I try to test both with Google Play and with the fake stores, just to compare what is the effect, because sometimes they come up with different results. But I try also to mess up as less as I can with the funnel of the users, because if they go to the fake store, then the funnel is a little bit weird. Yeah, but I would recommend at least try to go with one of these fake store softwares because you are likely to discover more things than Google Play gives you. And of course, you can A/B test iOS variants, not only with Apple search ads, but with them. And maybe the results that you apply with a Google Play version to an App Store app are quite different, and can even mean like a lower conversion rate.
Great, thank you, Jorge. Steve, Danny, do you have anything to add about that?
Please, Steve, proceed.
I just love how Jorge called it a fake store instead of like an A/B testing platform. You're like, it's just a fake store. All right. You know, I honestly use the Google Play stuff, and then I A/B test with just like seriously low budget, no budget Facebook groups. Like some of my friends, I'll just post different icons, kind of like what Danny said, like icon tests. Really focus on that. I'll just put A, B, C, D on 4 different icons, and I'll just post it on Facebook or Instagram. Be like, hey guys, what's your favorite? And that usually performs pretty well. It's pretty accurate in terms of like what you would get from a fake store. But essentially what I see with the problems with icon tests, it's like, oh, it's a different shade of color. And it's like, what, dude, it's that's not, these subtle differences aren't going to make a huge difference. Like test different characters, test like real different things rather than a different shade of color, a different thing. Like those are subtle differences that won't make a huge impact. It's the real big differences. Like, should I have this character or this character? Should they face this way? Should they face that way? That's going to make a bigger difference than the subtle color changes.
For sure, totally agree. I for my own apps and games, which I have low or zero budget, I only use the Google Play experiment stuff. And as Steve said, you don't have to run small experiments. You have to run experiments like crazy. You have to A/B test two very different icons. It's not about adding a shadow or changing a bit the color. No, you have to run A/B test the right way with completely different stuff. And we also run an agency, Picasso, and there we work for the iOS apps and games. We work with the split metrics, but now we are trying as ASO Giraffe because it could be a good option too. And we are always open to try all the new stuff. And that's all.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. Then moving on to the next question. What role do you think user retention will play in the field of ASO in 2020? Danny, you want to start? Or?
For example, I start. User retention is, in my opinion, one of the keys of ASO in 2020 because it's not anymore of stuffing keywords. It's not anymore of showing thousands of ads, of interstitial ads, and sorry for the expression, fucking the users. It's all about something I call the user happiness. ASO in 2020, it's about user happiness. Build a good product, market it the right way, forget about fake downloads and fake ratings and so on. And for sure, a good user retention, taking into account that user retention generally is not something very, very good on average for all apps and games. But for sure, a good retention rate, a good user retention will improve your ASO visibility, will improve your conversion rate, and will improve everything. It's all about the product, not the listing.
Great. Do you have anything to add? I don't know, Jorge, maybe?
Yeah, Danny nailed it. It is the time for the product. And like we said, it is so crucial to have it, and every time is getting more weight into their algorithms to push one app or the other into the trending or related apps. So it's becoming more and more important just because they don't want to provide bad experience to their users. So people that has like games with low retention and they are spamming user with interstitials right when they open the app. So that is not a good experience. That is not their goal or their vision. So they are trying to be more aligned on that.
All right, Steve?
I think just the conversion stuff, like nothing, echo everything you guys just said, and just like think about conversion rather than just always stuffing the keywords. Like think about the keywords. Obviously, they're equally important, but think about how you can convert that user as well. That's going to really help out.
Perfect. One last point about user retention, and it's something it's something I really think it's very, very important nowadays, which is the crashes, the bugs, and the ANR, app not responding in the case of Android Vitals. And crashes and bugs and so on are closely related to what I call user happiness. A high rate of crashes and bugs and so on will make our users unhappy, and our app will have a very, very low retention rate. And that for sure, and I have seen with my own eyes, will have a negative effect on your ASO.
Yeah. Hey, one thing to add, Danny, I kind of talked about this a little bit too, but building a brand, and I don't mean a brand in the sense of like really kind of, because it takes a long time, right, to build a brand. But I was thinking from an ASO perspective. Now, this is just a test, but from working with different clients, clients who have a little bit of brand that are associated with the keyword that you want to go after. So for example, some of the clients I have had unplug with meditation, I have playlists for music, start thinking about like when you're building that app, you're in that development phase, start thinking about keywords, the main keyword that you want to rank for. And is there an associated word that you can build a brand off of that sort of is synonymous with that particular keyword? So something to test, because what I've noticed with these clients is that they've been able to drive, I've worked with clients that get like 5 downloads a day, but they've been able to drive hundreds of downloads without any real ASO. And so it made me start believing that, hey, look, if you start going after a brand, so a short keyword that is synonymous with the keyword that you want to rank for, start thinking through that a little bit and start thinking about how you can build a brand that way.
For sure.
Yep. And last thing, just following what Steve said, it is not only about the brand, because I work with a client and they have, I don't know, like 20K organic installs and their ASO is 0. And it is not even a brand. So it is just because it is a good product, it has a good retention, it has like good ratings, people is enjoying the app and the happiness that Danny said. So they're getting just tons and tons of new installs every day just because they have a good product and they have 0 ASO, like no keywords. The screenshots are, let's say, average. They are not that great, but they are not bad. The icon is okay, and they haven't run any A/B testing at all. So good products still have it. So
I'm gonna talk to that guy, Jorge. I gotta interview
yeah,
that person. That's pretty good. That's
yeah.
legit.
Thank you, guys. So then moving on to another question. You mentioned it earlier, Danny. We're going to speak about ANRs and crashes, and I'm going to ask you guys what you think. If you think it has an impact on visibility, and what you can tell us about it. Danny, if you want to start with that.
For example, I start. We at TheTool have lots of data, and for all the customers we work for, and what we've seen regarding the ANRs and crashes and bugs, mostly on the Google Play Store, is that when you have an increase, for example, a real bug that makes your app not opening properly or working properly, and that ANR or crash rate increases, the visibility directly decreases. So there's a direct relationship between the crashes and the app not responding stuff or bugs, or you can call it whatever, with visibility. When I talk about visibility, I'm referring to visibility in search and also visibility in the Explorer side. For mostly for similar app cards, we have seen a very direct relationship between ANRs and visibility on both search and explore on the Google Play Store. I don't know if it's the same case as the App Store. I don't think so, because I think the App Store is much more simple than the Google Play Store. But if 2020 is the year of product, is the year of good user retention, and for sure, crashes and bugs will have an impact on both stores during this year. This is my humble opinion.
Steve, Jorge, do you have any experience with that or any thoughts?
Yeah, I can just agree 100% with Danny. So he just said everything. So not much to add there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If I could do a reaction, I'd just do the clapping emoji. That's all
Yep.
I would do.
Great, perfect then. Then another question, what are the primary factors in how keywords get ranked on both stores, do you think? Steve, do you have any thought about that?
I think there's besides the obvious, having the title have those keywords. I think, what we were testing in iOS 12 was shorter app names. They seem to be working better with the targeted keywords that you want with shorter app names. And I think ratings, I think after a while, it's as Apple's starting to show overall ratings, you see like all the big apps, like you're like, holy cow, like millions of ratings. So essentially incorporating some of those features in there, like the built-in iOS review prompt, that's going to really help your reviews. We've seen clients double the amount of ratings just by incorporating that prompt. And so doing that on Google Play side, I'll talk about the less obvious stuff and backlinks. So that's going to be important. We've seen good results with certain clients where we're starting to build backlinks and seeing good results with the keyword rankings. And so as you think about like what worked in SEO, the App Store is the same thing with ASO. It's just a little bit behind. So just start thinking about like what had worked in the SEO field. Well, now ASO is starting to take that into consideration. So when you think about retention, you think about like, bounce rate on the websites. So there's similarities between the two, and just start thinking about what was working with SEO. That's what I would say.
Perfect. Jorge?
I would say something that you said, but I prefer you saying it, like about the SEO and all this stuff. So if you can just go ahead, because I would just clap again. Something you said I think it was in Applause Barcelona, and since that, like the results have been pretty good. So about all the density and not the spamming, but the like being how would you say in English, the semantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just
In the Google Play, thanks Jorge for mentioning applause. And by the way, I love Steve Young talking about SEO and backlinks because it's something I have been talking about during years, and I have used them a lot to improve keyword rankings for a lot of Google Play apps and games. And regarding the App Store, which is, in my opinion, much more simple than the Google Play Store, you have to use the right keywords in the right places. And then it's about getting downloads, getting users, getting a good retention rate, and getting user ratings and reviews. And in my opinion, that's all. It's not a simple stuff. You have to work on a lot of different stuff. You have to work on ASO, on listing. You have to work hard on product. And that's my opinion about the App Store. And regarding the Google Play Store, I think ASO on the Google Play Store is almost SEO. So it's not, I think, anymore about keyword density or spamming with keywords the whole listing. It's about using the right keywords in the right places. It's about thinking in semantics. It's about using H1, H2, and H3 tags from the HTML on your listing, which you can use them and you should use them. It's about using bold on your listing too, using the tag B for bolding some keywords. And it's also about a good retention rate, the amount of downloads, user ratings and reviews, and also the keywords that appear in user reviews. I use this technique a lot, trying to use some given keywords on user reviews, and it works. 2-3 years ago, keywords on user reviews were amazing, powerful, were so powerful. Nowadays, they don't have the same power, but they still work. So try to get some reviews with keywords. Not all of them, because you are going to be banned from the Google Play Store. That's my...
Wait, Danny. So I got a question for you. Like you said, H2, H3 tags. I've actually never tried this. So you use H2, no H1s, H2, H3 tags on the Google Play listing?
Yeah, and H1 too.
Oh, H1 too. Okay. Interesting. So just like SEO, right? Like don't use too many H1s, just one H1, a lot of H2s.
Yeah. I normally use H1 for adding the 2-3 main keywords in a sentence, not spamming the store. And then I use each of the H2 for mentioning the core keywords of the product.
I love that. That's a great tip. Thank you.
yeah.
Great, thanks for the tip, Danny. And now we're going to focus on Google Play, and we're going to speak about something new on Google Play, which is the new Google Play tag features. So do you notice any impact on your keywords ranking since you've been adding tags on Google Play?
Yeah, I can go first. Like, not at all. I think the effect has been pretty much nothing. Let's say they are maybe just too generic, too broad to have a good effect. So far, like nothing changed at all, or not. I haven't discovered like any loophole with the tags, but maybe it has like any new feature they release. It could probably have a loophole, but I think nobody has cracked it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Steve, please, anything to say about Google Play tags?
Nothing. I don't have too much experience with it, but I'm glad Jorge said what he said because I didn't notice anything either.
Okay, I have some experience using or trying to get the most out of Google Play tags, and in my opinion, like Jorge said, they don't have any impact at all. And in my opinion, as I mentioned on the APS Berlin conference last week, Google Play tags are something designed for Google so they can sort or they can understand better the topic of any Google Play app or game. And I think being bad or being evil, like Google sometimes is, Google Play tags are thought for AdMob, for Google AdMob. The Google Play tags are so similar to the Google AdSense, Google AdMob categories. So I think maybe Google is using this stuff so Google AdMob advertisers can appear in much more related apps and games. So no impact at all using Google Play tags. And in my opinion, we are doing the job Google should do.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, moving on to the next question. What are, in your opinion, the most important ASO KPIs you need to track? And if you have any thoughts on that?
You have to be careful because you can track a lot of stuff, but not all stuff should be tracked. You have to know exactly what you have to track. In terms of ASO, the first KPI you have to track is the amount of the volume of organic downloads, because that's one of the main goals of the ASO, getting organic downloads. The second stuff you have to track, or the second KPI, it's conversion rate. Conversion rate, it's not only about getting more downloads with the same traffic. It's about lowering or reducing your user acquisition cost. And it's something that all developers and marketers should focus on, conversion rate. And then we have the typical KPIs like keyword rankings, top chart rankings, user ratings and reviews per day, your visibility on the similar app cards, which is something you can do right now with the tool, and revenue, because that's the main goal or the crucial goal of ASO. It's about getting downloads and making more money.
Jorge,
Yep.
Steve, have any thoughts?
Yeah, like a part of the obvious and what Danny said, like the revenue is so key, because I've seen many developers that have increased their organic downloads by, let's say, 30%, but the revenue decreased like 10% or 20%. So the opportunity cost of getting more users, but like ranking less for your, let's say, core keyword, or a keyword that is actually driving you money, even if it has less traffic, I think that should be considered, and maybe Apple search ads can help on that way. So you have to measure or try to measure what is the impact of each keyword. It's very difficult, but trying to come up with an LTV of each one.
Steve?
I don't think there's much more to add than what you said. On the revenue standpoint, what I've been trying to preach, because I come from the online marketing world, is email marketing. And so as you get these users in, how do you drive more revenue, especially for like non-games? Like, think about, for these subscription-based apps, think about how you can utilize email marketing and email drip campaigns. A lot of my friends in the online marketing space that sell digital products, they drive hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, year just utilizing email marketing. So I've been preaching a lot about utilizing email marketing to drive more revenue through your app. And so,
one last point, one more thing to add to the ASO KPIs stuff is what Steve mentioned before, and I completely forgot. And it is the backlinks. You should monitor or track the backlinks pointing to your Google Play app or game. And you should also, for sure, track the backlinks your competitors have. For doing this, you can use Ahrefs tool, which is, in my opinion, I'm not an affiliate of Ahrefs tool, but it's, in my opinion, one of the best ASO tools, and for sure the best tool in the market regarding tracking and monitoring backlinks.
Great. Now I'm going to ask you guys, please, to share with us a special ASO tip that you have, that you use. Who would like to start? Steve, do you have any idea?
oh, I wanted to hear their juicy tips first so I can take notes.
No, please go on, Steve.
No, I think, like what I said before, I don't think I've kind of just I'm open book, but like try shorter app names. What I've been testing a lot is that brand using emojis. I know people have been asking questions about where they can use emojis too. And so I think, kind of like what Danny said, the old hacks aren't working anymore. So we got to figure out what the new hacks are. And I think the true and tried, something that I always go back to, is social proof. Like, every website has social proof. And so try to have that, incorporate that as much as possible. And on Google Play, think about where this social proof can be visible in the search results, because there's a C and you got to really try to stand out. So I would say social proof is always working.
Perfect. Jorge?
Yep. Like, I would say it's not like a trick or but like a tip and something you should do is trying to approach conversion rate optimization like a scientific approach, and not just doing, okay, I did one last month and it's okay. Is trying to approach like a scientific A/B testing stuff, like very different variants, like all the time, and not assuming that something is working or has a conversion rate that you consider good, it can be improved, because that's something marketers tend to uh, tend to agree, like it is working, so I want to do more tests. So it is just trying to adopt like a scientific methodology for ASO, um, and try to get the most out of conversion rate optimization, because it can save you like a lot of money.
Okay. One or two quick ASO tips. For example, adding keywords to your Google Play bundle or URL, for example. I'm not telling you to stuff or to do keyword stuffing with your URL. There are some apps and games that do it, and I'm pretty sure this is not good. But please add your one or two main keywords into the URL. Add also your brand for sure, but please be sure to add one or two keywords in the URL. Also on the Google Play Store, as Steve said, you can use emojis almost everywhere. But take care, because if you add emojis to your title, you won't be able to run Google Ads campaigns. But there's one special place that you can add emojis, which is the developer name. You can add, for example, 5 stars, 5 emojis of stars in the developer name, and ta-da, you have a 5-star mobile app. And something I mentioned before, which is related to SEO, it's using HTML SEO tags on your listing, on your Google Play listing, because it works. It works. And as Jorge said before, I'm not telling you keyword density is dead, as I mentioned on the APS conference last week, but it's not working anymore in the way to spam the listing. So use words, use synonyms, use antonyms, use both, use HTML tags on the Google Play Store site. And as Jorge said, which is a crucial part nowadays on the ASO industry, please take care of conversion rates. So you have to run a lot of A/B tests, and you have to build a wonderful product. So you have an average rating over 4.5 stars.
One thing I want to add is something that I've always said, and there's, for those who are just starting in the ASO side, the US App Store on the iOS side, the US App Store indexes the Spanish Mexico localization. So if you put English keywords in there, English app title, short subtitle, keywords, you can literally double the amount of keywords that you're trying to rank for. And I've done some tests where I've had certain keywords in the US subtitle and then the Spanish Mexico title. I've been able to rank better for it. So like, as you start thinking about how you can better rank for certain keywords in the title, well, use different keywords in both titles. That way you can get better rank for both keywords. Still something that you think that everybody would know this trick, but for those just starting out, that is a trick that still works.
It's a very good trick, Steve. And one last point, I didn't mention any App Store ASO strategy or tip, because I really think the App Store is very, very simple. But there are some black hat ASO tips you can do on your App Store mobile app, buying stuff from Chinese companies, downloads per keyword, and so on, which is something I don't recommend at all, because some given day Apple will kill your mobile app or game, and so will kill your business. And that's all.
Well, thank you guys. You have now a lot of tips for your ASO, so that's great. And now I wanted to ask you about Google Play ASO and SEO backlinks, but we've already talked about it a bit. Do you have anything to add about that?
No. Well, one thing, you can build backlinks in so many different ways. You can build good backlinks, good contextual, backlinks. You can build backlinks on high authority websites, and you can buy backlinks on Black Hat World. So there's a lot of different ways to build backlinks, but you have to find the right way to do it. So please always ask your SEO team before investing of backlinks, because a good backlink strategy is good, but a bad backlink strategy is horrible.
Guys, do you have any thoughts on that or?
No.
I think you did the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like your. I was hoping for another ta-da sound effect.
Yeah.
I will do another one later.
Okay.
Okay. Now moving on to Google Play and App Store and how to be featured on the stores. Can you please share with us some tips and strategies that you can use for an app or game to be featured on both stores? Jorge?
Yeah, I can start with some. I recently got a client I was working with, a feature. They were a new game developer. The game was a reskin, so the product wasn't like really good. So what I recommended is try to add like a social stuff within your app, and I mean, try to donate some money to some organization. The game was about cleaning the ocean and so forth. So I say like, why not talking with an organization that cleans the ocean, so you can just give them like a part of the profit and put it like as a main part of the pitch, because like nowadays there are a lot of apps, a lot of submissions, and most of the good spots are taken by the big brands because they will be monetizing pretty good. And yeah, we basically did like a social, or yeah, like for the people presentation, and it worked. Other times that I got games featured without being good from the product standpoint, it was more about the story itself. So they don't seem to care about the metrics. Like if you put, yeah, retention is great, blah 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 blah. But something I discovered it also worked good is trying to increase the user acquisition budget for their own platform. So if you are running, or if you are pitching Google Play, then you can say we are going to run ads with Google UAC. If you are doing it with Apple, like this budget is for Apple search ads. Also, another thing, but it's kind of limiting, would be giving them like an exclusivity period. That we usually do it with iOS because it tends to be more profitable. So we said, okay, if we can be featured this time, we will give you like 20 or a month of exclusivity period whenever we release, and the release date is this one. So for all this stuff, you need to be really accurate when are you releasing the games, and having like a summary at the end of your presentation, like when is going to be the app live, what is the name, what is the genre, what is the category, and all this stuff, just to make their life easy. So summing up, like an attention grabbing history or social for the people story. Don't worry too much about the metrics of the app, and try to be accurate within your release date, and include marketing budget, even if it's fake, but just put it.
Steve?
Jorge, you're a big fan of fake stuff, huh? So a couple of things. I'll echo Jorge's point. We usually create a presentation when we're trying to pitch Apple or Google. Nice little thing just to make it seem a little more legit, just like you would do an investor. The things I've shared in the past are a couple of things. Reach out to an App Store manager cold. Go to the country that your developer ID is. Find them on LinkedIn, make that connection. Don't just go, hey, Apple, I want to get featured. Hi, Jorge, I want to get featured. Feature me. But, try to figure out what they've done. What I like to do is find them on Instagram and just like scroll all the way back and see if there's some type of thing some rapport I can build. And then the last thing that I've shared in the past is run ads. So run ads targeting employees of Apple. Now, if you know where they are, the App Store managers in the US, they're all in San Jose area, right? Cupertino. So if you can you can run ads. We've done this in the past and worked really well in 2017. But essentially, we would target employees of Apple in San Jose in like a 50-mile radius. And we would say, hey, Apple, we want to, here's why we should be featured, essentially. And so kind of like that email pitch, and we'd have video ads or banner ads. And we had 4 different clients featured in 2017. They've caught on. So you got to find different ad platforms. But I was just thinking, as Jorge was talking, maybe Instagram stories would be an interesting way. If we have the Facebook targeting capabilities, but now running an ad in Instagram stories might be a better way, because we've been running those Facebook ads. And I think nobody's on Facebook anymore, frankly.
Perfect, guys. From my side, nothing to add, because you are the 2 masters of getting featured. But one thing to add regarding the feature and regarding the feature on the Google Play Store, which Google Play Store has a lot of featuring slots, a lot of them for categories for the homepage and so on. And I think that in the Google Play site, Google Play takes into account for generating those thousands of features, the amount of downloads, and for sure your Android vitals. Google is not featuring a bad product, never.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys. Now let's talk about Organic Uplist, as it is a trend in the app marketing industry. What can you guys tell us about Organic Uplist?
Who wants to talk about Organic Uplist? Steve, go on.
No, I don't want it. Already talk about it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's been a buzz, but what I've seen is that downloads affect quite a lot, and the organic uplift, if you invest in user acquisition, is becoming more and more important, because you get to be related with other kind of apps, with other category where the monster at. Let's say if you are surpassing 100K installs, then you are ranked with other people. And if you get like 1 million plus in Google Play, then you're ranked with other bigger people. So whenever you are related, it certainly gives you organic uplift. And I think in ASO nowadays, it's becoming more and more complicated just to grab installs since the very beginning. So if you invest in user acquisition, it will be certainly like organic uplift on that.
Okay, my opinion about the organic uplift, it depends a lot on the country, it depends a lot on the category, it depends a lot on your budget, it depends a lot on so many different stuff. The first thing about organic uplift is that you have to measure it the right way. For example, this is the commercial side of the webinar. You can integrate your apps flyer adjust account into the tool, and you can easily view your organic uplift per day per country. So the first thing about organic uplift is about measuring it. And on the other hand, regarding the organic uplift, as I said before, it depends on too many different stuff. But the thing is, for low budget marketers or developers, they shouldn't focus on organic uplift. They should run UA campaigns to get downloads or user ratings and reviews, but they shouldn't focus on organic uplift. I think organic uplift is something thought for the big players with big budgets, and I'm finding cases of big players investing a lot of money on UA campaigns, on Facebook ads or on networks or TikTok or whatever, and they are not measuring the organic uplift the right way, so they are not able to take the right decisions in terms of the relationship between the organic and the non-organic side. So I think organic uplift is one of the trends of ASO in 2019, and for sure it will be in the next year in 2020, for sure. But the thing is measuring it the right way, having the right data to take the right decisions, because taking decisions with wrong data probably means disaster.
Yeah, I like to go last. That way I can start to really think through everything. So I would say this, like what we've seen is anytime you do like a burst campaign, for those who ask about like whether it's a keyword search burst, like some type of burst campaigns, they don't usually have a lasting organic lift. And so I would say something that's more sustainable, like even if you had, let's say a $2,000 budget, I'd probably rather try to spread that through even amount of days rather than just being like 2,000 one day and you get this burst. Yes, you used to get a lift in keyword rankings and an organic uplift, but then it would just fall when your downloads fell too. So it's the last thing I would add.
I agree with Steve, and I'm not telling you to not run burst campaigns. But the thing is, right now, nowadays, in my opinion, and for the apps and games I have, or we have, we spread the budget during the whole month or during the months or whatever, because you can find the key, you can find the exact moment when you invest 10 and get 80 in exchange. Thanks, thanks to the Organic Uplist. Totally agree with spreading the budget.
Yeah, and I can add, I did 3 install bursts and ranking bursts last year, and no effect at all in Organic Uplist. So don't invest your money on that. Be wise and go with legit partners. Go to Facebook ads and run the traffic there, because it's a waste of time and money. And it's like $2,000, something like that, to get a top 1 keyword in Germany, something like that. Last literally 3 hours and you get 0 back. So just invest wisely, because you can get, or you are likely to get more results doing other stuff.
Or you can even get banned, which is something not very funny.
Depending on how subtle they are, but yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. Then now, finally, I would like to ask you if you have any ASO prediction for 2020.
Prediction. Wow, Jorge, please go on.
I think we said it like a bunch of times. The good products will win. The prediction is that they are trying to minimize the amount of loopholes, even if we can find them, but they will be closing them quickly. Last year, it was the pre-orders. People were getting like 5 million installs a day in United States with pre-orders, but every time they release a new feature, it's becoming less hackable, or if it has a loophole, they are closing it quickly. So instead of going through the hack, try to invest time in your product, because at the end of the day, it's an asset. It will last, and it will mean more installs, better retention, what we just said along the seminar.
Okay, Steve.
My prediction is things are always going to change. And so I think we hit on it. Look, think about the product, think about the conversion, think about the companies, the app companies that have made millions of dollars, that have been around for a very long time. Like, they really think through everything, the whole funnel, not just, hey, can I get this growth? They think about, okay, if I get this growth, can I turn this user into a thing? So like, think about it from a business standpoint. I think too many times people get into the app space because they're like, hey, I just want to make an app. It'd be really cool to have this type of app. And they don't really do any type of market research or any type of optimization. So start thinking about it from a real business. If you're going to get into the app space, like, think about it like a real business would think about it, not just something that would be fun. Because I think in the beginning, we all got into it because we thought it'd be fun to have. I think now it's a very matured space. So like, think through the product a lot.
Okay. My prediction or predictions for ASO in 2020, as the guy said, focus the relevance of product, the relevance of doing ASO the right way, with not spamming with keywords, get a good conversion rate, get a positive, real, please, user ratings and reviews, and avoid an app that doesn't stop crashing, an app with good retention rate. And this is not a prediction, this is maybe a hope, which I also mentioned in the APS conference last week, is that we, the guys in the ASO industry, need much more reliable data from the App Store Connect and the Google Play console. So please, if anyone at Apple or Google are listening to us, which is something probable or not, I don't think so, please improve your data, improve your consoles, give us the right data to take the right decisions, in order so we can get more downloads, make more money, and also help all Apple and Google make more money. And that's all.
Great, perfect. Well, thank you very much, guys. Do you have anything you'd like to add, or?
No, I just want to thank Jorge and Steve for joining us in the first episode of the talks, by TheTool. And thank you all the attendees. And thank you everyone. We are very happy. For sure, we are organizing the episode 2 of the talks for 2020. And we will discuss more about ASO, about mobile growth, about UA, about everything related to mobile apps and games. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.